Over the years, I've worked with thousands of families. I've sat with spouses, adult children, caregivers who were terrified, caregivers who were exhausted, caregivers who felt like they were failing. And while every family story is different, there are certain lessons that show up over and over again. Lessons I wish more of you knew sooner. Lessons that can save you time, stress, guilt, and heartache. So today, we're going to go over those lessons together. Hi, for those of you who are new here, my name is Dr. Sinclair. I'm a neuropsychologist, dementia care specialist, and founder of the Confident Caregiver Academy. Let's jump on in. Before we begin, I want to tell you something important, something that you all already know. Most dementia caregivers are trying incredibly hard. In fact, one of the biggest surprises of my career has been realizing that the problem is rarely lack of love or effort. It's usually a lack of training. No one teaches you how to communicate with dementia. No one teaches you how to manage difficult behaviors. No one teaches you how to navigate grief, uncertainty, and stress that comes up with this journey. So if you are struggling, I want you to know something. Struggling doesn't mean you're failing. It often means you're doing one of the hardest jobs in the world without a roadmap. And that's why I want to share these lessons with you. Let's just pause here for a moment and take in what I just said. You are doing this job without an orientation, without shadowing a mentor, without a manual that tells you what to do. You've been thrusted in this role and expected to figure it all out on your own. Today's lessons are going to be helpful. First lesson, your person with dementia is not giving you a hard time, they are having a hard time. That's a common saying in our field because it's the truth. One of the biggest shifts I see in successful caregivers is learning to separate the disease from the person. When someone with dementia becomes angry, repetitive, suspicious, or resistant, it can feel so personal. But most of the time, what you're witnessing is not a character flaw, it's a brain under distress. And when caregivers can make the shift, everything changes. Instead of asking, why are they doing this to me? You start to ask, what might they be experiencing right now that's causing this? That single question can transform your caregiving. And this shift does not happen naturally for most people. It's a skill. Second lesson, behaviors are often communication. I spent years helping caregivers decode behavior. And one of the most common mistakes I see is focusing on the behavior itself. The pacing, the repetition, the agitation, the refusal. But behaviors are often messages. They're clues. They're the brain's way of communicating a need when words become harder to access. So the question isn't, how do I stop this behavior? I wish you could. The better question is, what might this behavior be trying to tell me? One of the reasons I spend so much time teaching caregivers how to decode behavior is because what looks like stubbornness, manipulation, or defiance is often something completely different. The good news is that behavior can be decoded, and once you learn that skill, many situations start to make a lot more sense. Third lesson, you cannot argue someone into a better memory. I'd like to pause and share a story of a client, a new client in the academy. So this client is taking care of a loved one with dementia, and every evening as she's escorting this loved one with dementia across the path, across the driveway back to her loved one's home, her loved one with dementia would say, I want to go home. I want to go home. And my client would say, we are going home. And then when they get into her home, the loved one would constantly continue to say, I want to go home, I'm going to leave, I'm going to get in the car and go home. And my client, before joining the academy, would start to try to orient her to the fact that this is her home. Look at the clothes in your closet. Look at the books on your bookshelf. Look at the pictures. This is your home. Obviously, that wasn't working. And this pattern continued every single evening. And it continues for many of you. Over the years, I've watched caregivers spend enormous amounts of energy trying to convince someone with dementia of reality. And I understand why. It's logical. It's what we do. The problem is that dementia isn't a logic problem. It's a brain damage, brain change problem. And often the fastest path to connection is not through correction. It's through validation, Again, a skill that requires a lot of practice and refinement. So please give yourself a bit of grace as you're learning that skill, but please also realize by telling your person with dementia that they are home when they don't remember this to be their home, that's not going to be effective. The fourth lesson I'd share with new caregivers is a caregiver's nervous system matters more than most people realize. This may be one of the least talked about truths in dementia care, not on our channel. Your loved one is often responding to more than your words. They're responding to your pace, your facial expressions, your tone of voice, your stress, your nervous system. I've watched situations calm down not because the caregiver found the perfect phrase, but because they became calmer themselves. And I know for many of you hearing that, you're going to write to me in the comments section, easier said than done, Dr. Sinclair. Right? And you're absolutely right. Because staying calm when someone is yelling at you, accusing you, refusing care, or asking the same question for the 20th time isn't easy. But here's something I've learned. Firefighters don't walk into burning buildings because they aren't afraid. They're afraid. They've simply been trained how to regulate themselves so that they can think clearly in stressful situations. Same with emergency room physicians. Responding to a crisis doesn't mean that they're unemotional. They care deeply, but they've learned how to calm their nervous systems so their skills can shine through. Dementia caregiving is the same. The goal is not to become emotionless. The goal is learning the skills that you need, learning how to stay grounded in tough situations so that your skills can show up when you need them the most. And that's something caregivers can absolutely learn, and that's something that I wish you were told from the very beginning. If these lessons are resonating with you, please like and subscribe. As our small channel grows, it reaches more caregivers who are struggling and need these insights as well. Thank you. Fifth lesson, safety and independence are constantly negotiating. One of the hardest parts of dementia care is that two important goals are often competing with each other, safety and independence. Most difficult decisions happen somewhere in the tension between those two things. Driving, living alone, managing medications, finances. There isn't always a perfect answer. But understanding that tension isn't always bad, it can help families make better decisions. One of the things training gives caregivers is a framework, an approach to use, and backup plans. Because these decisions are rarely black and white. They're often judgment calls, and you're competing with important values. So having a framework that can help you make decisions with confidence is so important. Lesson 6. Grief starts long before death. Gosh, I wish so many of you were told this from the beginning. Many caregivers tell me, I feel guilty because they're still here. That's grief. Grief often begins long before your person with dementia dies. You're grieving changes, losses, future expectations, role changes, traditions that you can't have anymore, and naming that grief is often the first step toward coping with it. But no one talks about that. Lesson 7 that I would share with every new caregiver is you will never completely feel ready, ever. Many caregivers believe that if they read enough, learn enough, or prepare enough, they'll eventually feel ready. In my experience, that's rarely how it works. Most of you will grow into the role one challenge at a time, not because you feel ready, but because you keep showing up day after day. Lesson 8, I wish all of you new caregivers knew that the relationship still matters. The diagnosis changes many things, but it doesn't erase the person sitting in front of you. And some of the most meaningful moments happen after diagnosis because you realize that time is fleeting. I want to acknowledge something very important though. For some of you, the person you're caring for is someone you've always had a loving, close relationship with. But for others, that's not your story, so this section may not resonate with you as much. But early in my training, I asked a caregiver once, what are you most afraid of losing? I expected her to say their memory or their independence. Instead, she looked me squarely in the eyes and she immediately said, our relationship. And that answer has stayed with me ever since because underneath all of the appointments, medications, and caregiving responsibilities is a person you love, a spouse, a parent, a sibling, a friend. And after a diagnosis, it's easy for every interaction to become about what needs to get done. But the goal isn't simply helping someone live longer. The goal is helping both of you live as well as possible during the time you still have together. So here's a question I encourage caregivers to routinely ask themselves. What would help us stay connected right now? Not just what needs to get done. The diagnosis changes many things, but it doesn't erase the person sitting right in front of you. And while there will be difficult days ahead, there will also be opportunities for connection, comfort, and even joy. The final lesson that I would share with caregivers is you don't have to do this alone. Perhaps the biggest lesson I've learned after nearly 20 years in dementia care is this. The caregivers who do best are rarely the ones who know everything from the start. They're the ones who stay curious, ask questions, learn new skills, and seek guidance along the way. Because one thing I've learned over the years is that love by itself is not a caregiving strategy. Love is essential, but love alone doesn't teach you how to respond when your loved one thinks you're stealing from them. Love alone doesn't teach you how to handle aggression, refusals, sundowning, or repeated questions. Those are skills, and skills can be learned. I've worked with incredibly devoted caregivers who love their person deeply, but were exhausted because no one ever taught them what to do. Then I've watched those same caregivers become more confident, more calm, more effective. Not because they love their person more, but because they developed new skills. That's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about caregiver education and training, and one of the biggest reasons I started this channel. Because dementia caregiving is one of the hardest jobs in the world. And I firmly believe that family caregivers deserve the same kind of training and support that professionals receive. So if there's one thing I hope you've taken away from today's video, it's this. You do not have to have all the answers today. You do not have to become an expert overnight, and you do not have to figure out the next 5 years this week. After nearly 20 years in dementia care, I've learned that confident caregivers aren't built in a day. They develop one skill, one insight, and one step at a time. So wherever you are in this journey, focus on your next step. Not every step, just the next one. If you'd like help with that next step, I've created a free dementia care starter kit that's linked below. It helps you understand what to expect with dementia. You can go ahead and download it. And for those of you who'd like more personalized guidance and training, you can schedule a call to learn more about the Confident Caregiver Academy. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.